Let's go. Yeah. All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, episode 5. Five, yes.
Five, no, three, so three.
5, yeah.
We got the display of their hard work, you know, at the meeting and everything, and it was wonderful. And we have been informed that, yes, the Riot Police were actually the security club, which is... That's amazing. It just goes to show even further how ridiculous and insane this school is. They have funding. They got money.
Have the ability to throw some resources into things that they could not before.
Without selling that couch on eBay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they might not have to worry about things like deadlines.
Oh.
For at least the immediate future.
They can just create what they wish to create
with the money
is it true
to them.
Is it possible?
Yeah.
There will probably be some stipulations and constraints onto that, but
for sure,
basically that's the idea.
It'll probably be like an end of year thing, you know.
Sure.
Like you guys have about 7 months or something, you know.
Right.
Maybe like 9 months or what have you. Don't know what point in the school year this is. They might have mentioned it, but that's exciting. We get to see them together working on something which can have a lot grander of a scope, and also will allow them to flex their own individual creative passions in ways that they were constrained on before.
Right.
So, let's just jump right into this. Tarnation!
Wait.
What dark timeline is this?
A robot.
She looks excited.
Just grabbing the board.
Wait.
Oh.
Oh my god, just I love this.
Yeah. Watch.
Yeah.
The pursuer is actually just Kanamori being like, stay on task.
Oh, sweet. We're in Mecha now, boys.
Yep.
Kanamori.
Yeah.
Yep. And she's got the little hatch on her forehead. 2 out of 3. Oh, the plot for this anime is just so convoluted, though.
What I'm wondering, though, is if this is all like them imagining that is the concept and everything.
Oh, that was cool. That was cool.
What's the reason for doing it this way?
This is probably the robotics club, and they're wanting to see if they can use this for their like set inspiration.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, robot is not an old word. Cool. Yeah.
So this club has been around since the 1800s.
And I'm sorry for homogenizing giant robots with mecha. I'm sorry. Truly an uncultured weeb here. Hey!
Alright, cool.
I love Asukasa.
Right.
The hammer comes down. Oh my god, tell that to every Kickstarter out there ever. Oh.
But then, do you end up making anything?
長3.5メートル、重量4.7トン、移動速度時速7。小さい怪獣じゃな。小さいって3メートルは巨大ですよ。みたいな怪獣現実的じゃダメ。
Of course not.
ともかくこれならロボよりキリンの方が大きいですぜ。
トラックで突撃すればワンパンじゃない？
One hit KO? Really?
Yeah.
予算を提示している。
面投影面積は巨大人型ロボットの作られた言葉だと言っても過言ではないよ。
頭部が正面になると弱点を晒すことになるから、ハッチは背中にあるのが妥当なんじゃないかな。めんどくせえ。
Ah! OP! Yes! Let's get easy breezy! The Steel Goliath appears.
Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy.
Just this one alone.
Yeah.
That's the only one I need right there.
Although this one is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I also want to
And then
point
the-
out that even though Kanamori is not the main character of the show, she is shown first.
That is true.
You know?
In the dances, specifically.
Yeah, right.
Because I think they show the faces in the beginning outside of their dancing.
I think Kanamori was actually shown first.
We'll go back and
faces
check.
too.
Yeah. She might be. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Ja, ja, na, da, 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 da.
I love how the actual project they're working on is completely arbitrary, though. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, I guess this is what we're doing, but it could be anything, right? Like, the fact that it's this robot in particular doesn't matter.
Right.
ここですか。
そうらしい。
うわー、めっちゃ深いじゃん。
芝港創立前からある地下ピットだって。
なんすかそれ。
パイプとかを整備しやすいように前もって作っと。
This is our classic entrance point for where the robot is kept, you know.
いきなり足止め。
Yeah.
潤滑油持ってきてたな。開かなかった。
開かねえ扉があってたまるか。扉は開くのが仕事だろうが。仕事し。
Kick it really hard. Nice.
Yes,
The muscle.
させるとは。
you've even bent energetic. I can't even speak. Ah. Ghost defense mode. Oh, I
Alright.
love it.
タクサさん、リュックの中他に何入ってんの？
教えない。
Garlic, holy water, salt.
とロケハンしてくださいよ。文化祭で最も注目される。
Okay.
聞いてないよ。
It's news to us too.
今はロボットなので。ロボ
Ah,
Gotcha.
so it is important that they use that robot. Yeah.
本来日陰で小さく生きていた。
But you're in the shadows right now.
なんじゃない？
Yeah.
品を認めてもらうには明るいところに行くべきなんです。
比喩が今の行動と真逆じゃよ。うん、いたわりだ。壁沿いを歩け。
大丈夫でしょう。
音が鈍い。柔らかい。
That is true. Whoa.
That's cool.
私も取るんすか。
取るよ。ドーン。バラバラ。
Cool.
Nice.
何してんすか。
フレーム内妄想じゃな。
Frame-sizing.
自分が体験して得たものはオリジナルだ。わかるかね。
もう暗いところには慣れたんですか。
That was great.
粉塵の中から現れたるは巨大鉄砲ガニ。
Pistol lobster.
鉄砲エビの腕を
What is this? Hunter Hunter?
怪獣や
Is that the creature that can do like the supersonic punch?
それはもう
No.
ないですか。
No, I don't think
ワ
so.
クワクは。
Or maybe it is.
でもロボットな
I don't know.
火炎放射で焼きガニにしちまえば良いんではない。
武器はどうする？
チェーンソーで戦うとかどうかな。
Mm.
歯描くの大変だよ。
高速で回してれば見えないから平気。
あたたたたたた。
開いた爪をロックして力を込めてからロックを外すことで発生するものすごい衝撃波。地面にチェーンソーを突き立て移動。
迫力ある。めっちゃ強い。
Wait, moving it into the ground to move faster. That's different.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be for balance.
Right.
Oh. All three of them?
端っこを通れって言って
でも下が落ち葉で助かったね。
Yes.
なんかここふかふかであったかい。
Probably because of the leaves.
電話で助けよ
県
う。
外です。
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say you're underneath too
Oh,
much
no.
concrete.
熱いのは落ち葉が発光してるからだ。
Oh no.
充満してる。このままいたら
Oh my god.
ロープを出して靴下を脱ぎ
Yes!
靴下に入れてロープに結びつけて投げる。
Genius!
Asukasa had all of this?
脱出しよ
すげえな。
いう人で。
That's great.
Azukasa is revealed.
Yep.
And they're already out.
Yeah, yeah, it's just there and done.
う。殺してかかるべし。
浅草さんっていつからそういう話し方できるようになったの？
会話が苦手だから妙な語尾で心を守ってるだけですよ。
Just cutting right to the chase.
Yeah.
相手に対して提案の素晴らしさをアピールするの
Yeah,
で、
but just make it
複数
as we want.
一つを選ばせ、かつ我々が望む案に誘導しましょう。弱みアンテナを立てておく。
Wait.
全面投影面積がどうのこうの言ってたの俺はこの耳で聞いた。
また小野が。
あいつらはロボットをフィクションとして開けるようなアニメを作りかねない奴らだ。虚構だからこそ素晴らしいのにだ。映像権をコントロール下に。
Oh my god, yes.
Oh no.
耐え難いアニメ。つまり
こんにちは。こんにちは。
応答なし。
声大きいかな。
I love the rant of the last minute power
Yeah.
boost.
前に我々の権に対し優位に立たねばならない。あ、
意深い。
How sinful.
時代なら死刑ですね。
Oh.
立派な資料は今後も有効に活用させてもらいます。
金森氏は人と話すのがうまいな。
これは怪
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah.
I love that Supermay said that with a smile on her face.
Right, right.
物語の舞台は芝浜高校にしました。
なるほど。
それでは次の怪獣の設定をご覧ください。
亀。
水中で爪を閉じるとキャビテーションが発生してソノルミネッセンスが起き、このプラズマによる温度は5000ケルビン、圧力は1000気圧を超えますが、
その設定過激すぎなんじゃ。
これは大西洋に生息するって。
That's
Hey,
that's
there
what
we
it
go.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
ロボットは右腕についたチェーンソーを地面に突き立て高速移動します。
おのよかったな。地に足のついたリアルロボットを布教するのがロボ犬の使命じゃなかったのか。
え？リアルロボットって
大きくて人が乗るやつ。
yeah.
じゃあ
But
Mecha.
realistically.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
This is so good.
人型ロボットは人間サイズを超えると用途が限られ
Right,
電車がダメでも二足歩行ロボは出てこない。次に出てくるのは
Right, yeah.
そりゃ住民避難させて戦車持ってきますよね。現実アニメの影響で本当にロボットを作り始める。
yep, yep.
Mhm.
アニメでも巨大ロボもの減ってる。
Yes, they're bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
俺だって不可能だと本当は分かって
But I believe.
かもしれないと思ってる。でも乗りたいんだ俺はロボットに死ぬほど
The way they separate from.
Oh, and the actual yellow snot.
発言には責任をいつでも俺が生きてるできなきゃ増える下側で心中だ。イメージできるんだよこうやってダダダダダダダ
ほど話が噛み合わん理由は
Is that this guy's hopeless?
世界を想像する回路が変わる。
手を見たい。手が広すぎて毎日お風呂で泣いている。
寝る前に
どうしよ
問題が感情
god, this was beautiful.
Wow.
Oh.
パイロットとロボのツーショットがこうなってパイ
Okay.
ロット同士話す描写がかっこいいんですよ。
どうも特殊な教養がないと楽しめないような作品を作りたがる傾向が
Oh, the struggle, Jacob. Isn't that so true? Yep.
コックピット
All artists start creating for themselves primarily.
ブラウン管モニターはレスポンスも良い。
メインモニターすごく広範囲見えてる
Or for the sake of the art, really. Just
ババーン。
そこはかとなく年代を感じる。
では起動
こんなにスイッチあってコントロールできるんすか。
結局ロボットアニメ作ってる人が一番信頼してるのは
Sure. That's a great point.
well said.
起立しますお捕まりください
最初立ってなかったっけ？
思いっきり前傾
こんなに
That's cool.
Wow.
I love how a lot of the detail that's being put into how this robot is functioning is more than a lot of the robots I've seen in anime that have, like, giant robots. Even though I haven't seen too many.
全体の形を顔と合わせたい
油圧カッターシャキーン。
ダメ落ちだ。もっとやれ。ドリルは
We need a drill!
Of course, yes.
もう来ようじゃねえか。
All the drills!
ロボ犬は技術系の部活だぞ。わかるわ。攻めて
Aha!
にして作ができるんす。
Right, right. Now show the full thing. Yeah, yeah. Let's see how many drills we've got on.
だいぶイメージ変わったな。
形複雑じゃない
It's gonna be a mess, isn't it?
Yep.
ガテン系のロボができてしまった。どうするんだこれは。
Wow.
Wow. That's that's something.
That is something, though. I think it
All
looks
right, we
pretty
can-
decent. I
we
thought it would
can
have
either-
way more just crap on it, but no, that looks pretty good.
We can either make a super over-the-top impressionistic robot anime based on Type Moon, or
Boobies.
movies. Watch, that's gonna be the end of the show. They're gonna do this project, they're gonna be like, that was awful, I hated working with the Robot Club. What do we do?
Let's just make something that sells. What sells?
Right.
Goes the internet.
Kanamori's gonna be like, well,
Oh, wow.
we have these three
About
options. Decent proportions, over-proportioned, under-proportioned. Which would you like to choose?
Jesus. God, though, the thing of, creatives constantly trying to force their very niche kind of appeal for a specific thing.
Yeah.
Because they're not making it for the audience, really. They're making it in a lot of ways for themselves and for the sake of just realizing the thing that's been in their mind's eye for so long,
Yep. And that can be great, but you just want to be honest with yourself that that's what you're doing.
Yep. And then when you bring in other people who then, change.
Multiple very specific
Oh.
opinions about it.
That's sweet art. Oh. All right. This was a really good episode.
This was a lot of fun.
lot of good character stuff here.
Yep, we've got a new project for them. They're going to be working with the Robot Society, which apparently has been around for a very long time. Because they do have this robot, and it has gone under many different transformations and things over the years. Which,
Yeah. I think there's some things that might be getting conflated. They're talking about robots being something that were
Okay.
being designed as a fictional thing long before the word robot was coming about. That was them talking about the history of the whole
sure,
thing.
okay, yeah, maybe that's what it was. See, the school in this show is so ridiculous that there's parts where I'm like, no, that they can't be meaning that, but maybe they are. The cold open was wonderful. It was, I did not expect it. It was in a very different style than usually, but it did make me feel, it did remind me of that whole chase sequence we got in the first episode.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, so you were right. They're saying it's a super robot model that has been in the robot society for generations.
Right.
And they've just been making improvements and stuff over the course of time.
Which is
that's a fun idea for their world and what have you. But the world exists for us to have a backdrop for these characters in order to showcase their creativity. So in this case here, they're going to be making something for the school festival.
Yep.
Something that they will have to basically showcase is worthy of being like given like kind of top tier presentation.
Right, because they do get the front and center spotlight for it. So even though, like there's the whole thing of we can finally, do the kinds of things that we want to do and with no deadlines. No, there's actual deadlines. There's actual deadlines things that you're probably not aware of yet. They're going to limit you some more. Yep. Like maybe regarding the actual content or maybe regarding like I don't know, something that they have to shoehorn in maybe or something. Yeah. Like all those extra weapons and stuff for the robot. Like a drill.
God.
Because you gotta have a drill. That was okay, so this show is made by people who love what they're doing, right?
Oh yeah.
That one was going the extra mile though. Like that one was
it's appealing to us like basic anime fans who only like jumped in the last like 10 to 15 years.
Right, that whole comment on like, but haven't robots been getting less and less common in anime? Oof. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. And then bringing up one of the more iconic, elements of robots in the recent memory. It's fine. And it doesn't look right. It looks like an actual drill. Oh, it's just a different kind of actual drill. At least just make it a metalworking drill.
Right. And it's tough for them because their development has been lagging behind, just a little bit. And that's something that hopefully the anime, the video anime society thing will help give them that little bit of a jolt.
Because after all, who the hell do they think they are?
Seriously. Yeah. And all this being said, the episode then went into a lot of the struggles that come with the creative process when it actually comes to realizing it. And yes, exactly. So what happens when your creativity is filled with all these emotionally raw contradictions and unrealistic expectations that force you down a path that is ultimately kind of more of just like a life experience, but won't really go the distance,
This is why I feel like being able to commission something is still a skill.
Oh, sure.
Even though it's not on the same level as the actual direct creation of the thing.
Yeah.
That robot changed as a result of talking with the video society. Or the robot society.
Yeah.
And, maybe, who knows? Maybe it was, it looks different. There are some parts of it that look really cool, But maybe it's also something where if they had a clearer objective of what they wanted it to look like and what they wanted to communicate with it, then it would look a bit more sort of holistically one thing with singular vision, not as much hodgepodge, a bunch of things thrown onto there. Because those super specific interests and tastes that don't exactly have much wide market appeal, and even less
matter even in the grand scheme of things either.
Right, and way less when you try and intersect or slap together two or three of them.
There's a reason why it was just drills in Gurren Lagann.
Right.
Yeah. Because anymore it would have been.
Yeah, like imagine if it was
crazier.
Drills and like golf clubs, like what? Yeah. No. But so here we are, they have that familiarity with interacting with the client.
Right.
But they're getting paid for this. That's a big deal.
Something. They're getting paid something.
Right, something. I'm sure it's next to nothing, but that means that that's in addition to what they get of the funding that they earn. So that's kind of a big deal. Like
yes, I like the idea of the partnership being something that's cool. Not cool, but I'm saying something that's a cool look at how these kinds of business relationships can work. Because let's say, how often in anime would you say, and I think there's quite a few that are like this, where like a toy company collaborates with an animation studio and is like, hey, we want to sell our products.
Right.
Please make an anime around this thing. That's happened quite a few times, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Some of them are mega popular.
Oh, yeah. Like, I know at one point, this isn't a toy, but at one point, Microsoft did like a Windows commercial anime short. Like, so for toys, yeah, I can only imagine there's plenty of them. We know Pizza Hut definitely sponsored Code Geass, right? So, you know, yeah.
Well, that's one where it was an anime original that wasn't about the pizza.
Right.
I mean, you could beg to differ, but...
Well, yeah, right.
but I think that was more of a thing of where they needed really investors in general, too.
Yeah, sure.
So that just makes sense. But this is something where they're not, seeking investors. This is something where, they're getting commissioned. So in a lot of ways, this is more something where they have to find their own passion within it. So the creative interests of both parties might end up not really aligning without this kind of interaction, negotiation.
Yep.
And I liked the angle that Kanamori kind of took within it was, all right, I got my blackmail material. I figure out a way to do this. Now I need to figure out a way to make sure we stay calm, and then I can take control of the I cry in the bathtub because I want to see the edge of the universe, but space is too big, and then it's like, oh my god,
just thrown out there,
Superman's like, I fire a Hadouken in my right before I go to bed every night,
and then I pretend I'm sitting in the cockpit of a mech when I'm on the toilet. Yeah.
Okay, Jacob, what do you do though?
This
is one we all do.
I pretend I'm Colonel Mustang.
Right.
And I just snap explosions in my mind.
This is the one we all do.
Make sure not to hit
y'all.
anybody with them, but
we all wave our hands when the grocery store doors slide open. We're like,
definitely.
I am a Jedi.
If you're not doing that, then something has died
me.
inside you a long time ago,
or you just haven't watched the good Star Wars.
Yeah, which oftentimes isn't even the movies. But so here we are. One of the things that I'm a bit worried about, given the fact that they're actually working with a client, is the idea of because this wasn't brought up. But what happens if these emotionally led clients, they're like, yeah, this design is great. And then later, when they're animating it, they're like, actually, hold on. Can we change the design slightly for the robot?
Nope, you paid us. We're done.
Yeah, exactly. Right, but that hasn't been brought up, that once we start actually animating this, there is no change.
Kanamori will drop the contract. But what I would love to see specifically is that Kanamori makes some points about how there's a transfer of ownership regarding the designs of the robot once they actually start the project.
It is a leasing of it for the display of the festival only.
But that means that they own the actual project, meaning that once they start on it, it's their own IP and the other people have no rights to it.
Odds are it's probably not that, but if it isn't that, it's probably better that way, because I get the feeling that this will be something where it will still have quite a few warts when it's all said and done. And like
I could see that, but I also think that because they did that previous fight, and this is just a monster robot fight in terms of like
how bad can it go? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the main difference is that it's going to be more animation. It's going to be a lot more complicated animation, but it's still the same kind of production.
Something that will be visually cool, hopefully.
Right, visually cool, and probably utilize a couple of the tricks that they learned, but basically just get more complex design work into the actual models, and then have more time to basically animate the models doing more, fun, cool things.
But like, I love that I can already see some of the ways that like the simplicity of the first animation they did is probably going to end up being better than what they're doing here, even if this ends up being cooler from a technical perspective, just because you can see that there were some people that didn't know what they were doing that had a hand in how this turned out.
You're right.
And it's one of those things where it could bring up again that question of the artistic do what you want kind of the thing, or the make money and do something that'll make it so that we can do this sustainably, right? Because as wonderful as it would be for Asukasa and Tsubame and Kanamori to just make something, they'd probably burn out eventually if they weren't getting anything substantial in return for it, other than the good feelings at the end, maybe.
Well, that's definite, yes, but they would burn out if they didn't have those even faster.
Well, sure. That's it's a good question,
because if they're not actually doing something that they want, like it's the project for the presentation for the budget and stuff, then they're even more screwed, because then they're like, we have to cut so many corners and do all that kind of stuff.
They'll bring up the idea of, okay, we did this thing that was sort of it was a job, and they got the money from it. All right, cool. Now that we've done our commercial, thing, now we're going to do our passion project to show people what we can really do,
where we are pinching pennies, because
exactly,
it's literally just us funding it. Then they sell the couch.
Yeah. Well, or hopefully they have enough funding from the club funding plus this commission that they'll be able to do that, and then thus
the cycle of the animation studio.
Exactly, and that's where
that just sells, and then make something artistic.
And the artistic thing brings in the hardcore fans that follow the studio, and then the commercial thing makes it so they can keep doing the artistic ones.
Like, that's such a rare thing, isn't it?
It depends on what studio you are.
I mean, true, but that's the thing, is that if you look at all of these studios that have been around for a while, you look at some of their earliest stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of projects that are just forgotten to time.
I'd love to show you Inferno Cop at some point. It was like one of Trigger's I know early about that things. One. Yeah. It's bare bones, budget and things like that, as far as, but it was fun, right? And in some ways, that's one of the things that I love about Trigger, is that they managed to do the inventive kind of stuff while at the same time figuring out ways to make it profitable. And then you can do feature-length movies and things like that.
Yeah.
But
great episode, going into a lot of the things that are kind of more the business stuff of setting this whole thing up. But then as we get to see them going into the details of realizing the passion that both parties do kind of share for this whole thing, there's going to be some good common ground to share in that emotional, storytelling. But I really loved this episode, are all the details of the little jokes and moments and little boxes of dialogue, or of inner monologue thoughts, when the emotional rants of the robot society guy is going off. And Asukasa is just like, I feel sorry for this guy.
Oh man, the fact that they were actually referencing that shrimp that I thought it was, which was cool, because I was I didn't think it was a lobster. I thought it was more like a shrimp or something like that. That's cool. But then the fact that the Robot Society president, I guess, was ranting about the lack of realism in giant robots and things like that, and specifically saying we can't have them just at the end, have it be some bullshit homing laser, type thing. Oh man, that I feel you. I really feel you on that. Yeah.
It is really funny though when this guy is crying and really starting to reveal the vulnerability of this whole thing, and that he wants the fantasy. He wants the crazy specific iteration of this fantasy that appeals specifically to the thing that he's always dreamed of. And yet it's so difficult. It must be insanely difficult to acknowledge at some point that your crazy specific dream is something that the mass market just doesn't like.
Yeah. And not everyone has an armor fetish. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, exactly. And even more so, the idea that more people dislike it than like it. It's not a thing of whether or not people want it. It's about a thing of people just actively no, I don't like that.
You actively don't like Domestic Girlfriend? Wait.
No, I'm talking about specifically this thing here. And I remember kind of thinking back a while ago about just the idea that giant robots in mecha anime was something that we weren't seeing much of. Because we recently, not recently, but semi-recently, reacted to SSSS company Redmond.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool twist on the more kind of Power Rangers style with the superimposed images over the
right. The not even
Tokusatsu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not mecha. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But that's something that's pretty niche. It has a lot of nostalgia,
Yep.
Attached to it.
Mhm.
But like, we didn't really grow up with that. So it was something that, it meant more to us because of the stuff that happened in the story and the characters. But those kinds of little bits of passion coming out where people are like, I don't care about all the contradictions or the lack of realism in this area versus that area. I just want that thing. I want that one thing to be in there. And I love to interview people that are involved in these kinds of projects where it's like, here's the story. Editors and everyone, focus groups, we know this is going to be a decent success. Mm-hmm. There's this one thing that our like storyboard artist or our director or some person in the the studio is like, I really want to have this thing in there, and they're like, fine, we'll have it in there. It's for you, and everyone else here is our little thing. Then we're like, yes, we were able to be creative with it, and maybe everyone when they watch the anime are like, that thing in there, that was really cool, but it didn't really seem like it fit as much, you know? Like,
so, story on that topic.
Sure.
When I was writing Battle Lines, there was someone who was reading it and they couldn't get over the armor.
Sure.
More specifically, that swords were used, that the final battle was with all the battles between the angels were with swords when they have this armor. They were like, I don't know. What it should really be is it should be hydraulic spikes that basically are for like punching through the armor, right? And they were like, that would make way more sense. And it's like, it was this thing of like, yes, that would, that would definitely have a certain style to it.
So bludgeoning and piercing.
Basically.
Whereas your swords were just piercing.
Well, just the idea, or no, just piercing, not slashing. And focused entirely on just being a single point of just,
yeah.
Right. A big
wow,
spike.
It's kind of like the lobster here. Yeah.
Right, basically.
Huh.
But I was like, no, that one, this is sci-fi. And two, I don't want my final battle to be with people that are trying to like have some like
punch each other really hard.
Yeah, some stapler of a sci-fi spike, right? Like that. No.
It's interesting because thinking on it and having read the book, I can see the appeal though of hydraulic spikes.
Yeah, like
it basically boils down to my anime power of punching you really hard. It does kind of. It's kind of like how in a lot of these super powered stories and stuff, when the heroes are beaten down and there's nothing left, it just ends in a punch fest.
Right.
And it's like that's so cliche. But I mean, hydraulic spikes, right? But
then, like, how would you have an actual like fight with that? Wouldn't it just be sort of,
Yeah, wouldn't you constantly have to shift to inside the armor as you like feel the tremor?
Well,
and then it's like, I only have 71% armor integrity.
Oh man. But so that whole conversation of sort of what is the balance that you strike between rule of cool and going into all the detail of it, so as you inspect it closer it holds up.
Yes.
Right? It's tough. And then there's things like Trigger where they're just like, no, screw that. Let's make it very
Deus
clear.
Ex Machina.
Right, exactly.
You're not there.
Yeah.
You're not there.
We're not going to joke around here. Everyone will know what we're about, and they'll love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and
God,
you
Trigger.
were also,
Indeed.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. But
now
here
I
we
kind
are.
of want to watch
Premiere. I want to watch that again so bad.
This anime in general just makes me want to create stuff in general. Because if anything, I definitely feel like the more and more I think about what kind of creative things that if I could focus on one and not do any others, I would do way more stuff that would be on the Asakasa side of things. I would do way more concept-based stuff. Because I can't actually draw, but I can concept out the ideas upon which those things that would end up getting drawn, why they work. And it's not that I'm necessarily like super good at it or even smart at it. I just enjoy it. There's a rush you get from it. And like that's something that goes all the way back to like having toys that you play with,
Oh, yeah.
and then they are just avatars of your will into this make-believe world.
Right.
That it doesn't exist.
There are
know?
ways to communicate it and express it, because that's the problem with art, and that's also why we love it. It's because it's something where this amorphous, ambiguous thing called an emotion and a feeling and all of that stuff can be given form and then given to other people. Because otherwise, like, Vulcan mind meld, like, how do you give something memory share? Like, what do you do? Right? You can't. And then there's the, how does it actually get expressed? How much of what you wanted to communicate is able to be made manifest via your proficiency with some artistic thing, like drawing in this case.
Yeah, that's why I love anime so much, is that it came from, most of the time, something that was drawn, hand-drawn by, one person and their editors, sometimes, sometimes multiple people.
Yeah, a couple assistants or something.
Yeah, exactly. But for the most part, the translation, the adaptation, is something that is synergistic, or
it doesn't feel the same as, like, when you have, like, I know some anime are light novels, but like that whole the book is always better than the movie kind
exactly
of thing.
Because I think on some level what it is that a book is not a visual medium,
right?
So your imagination goes beyond reality, which is the thing in the ED. The idea that your imagination can fill in the blanks for the giant robot working, but but you still need to sell them enough on the idea that it works a certain way. In a visual medium, you can do that without the other person, with the audience actually asking whether or not they believe it, because they don't end up asking that because they just saw some things that made them think, oh yeah, this is how it works.
Whereas with books, you have not only no visuals, but it's also linear. You have a single input of information of one word at a time. Here you go. And
you can't travel back up to the panels and look around and kind of take it holistically, settle on everything, feel the flow of it. There's an actual, like, step-by-step process of how you consume the information, then translate it and retain it, think about it and all that. So anime just feels so much closer to what the original material was if it was a manga, and then you end up feeling so connected to the original creator's vision at times when their specific vision, passion is perfectly put on display, in those specific moments.
When in those cases where they're able to just turn it into a manga and it feels like there wasn't anything lost in translation from their head to the first iteration of the story, and you don't lose much after that.
Exactly. And there are times when, like, I don't read manga really. Like, I don't, like, I'm reading One Piece, but it's like I don't know that that's the case, but I can think back to multiple anime where the visuals just told me so much about how the people that worked on this anime, but also the original creators, cared about this work and wanted it to look this way. And, like, sometimes even the studio goes above and beyond and makes the work better than the original. There's One Punch Man to thank for that. Like, think about that. Like, there's a whole story with that.
That's a whole story right there.
Because there's also the actual, like, artist that came in to help with the manga as well. So, like, it's just so cool to think about when you have that specific passion and there's like this feeling of, like, I just want to be able to have it look this way.
Right.
And then you end up partnering with people that give you the capacity to make it look that way, and then you get to put it out there. And even if not a lot of people like it, there's the act of knowing, like, you did it, and also that all the people that did end up liking it would never have necessarily liked this thing if they hadn't seen you make it.
Sure. Yep.
So
the whole thing of the when Superman was walking around and the girl's like, "Hey, I'm a fan." Oh no, right. That would have been because of the modeling, not because of the animation. Wow. Okay.
I was like,
wait,
where's he going with this?
I totally misinterpreted that when I was watching the episode.
Yeah, it's okay. We all have those
boy.
moments. I called this episode 3 in the beginning.
But they
yeah.
could have people that come up to them and were like, that animation was really cool.
Whoa, no, Jacob, I think what you did was you just tapped into the future. There's going to be a moment where Tsubame is going to have
someone recognizes her for that, not for the
not
modeling.
Just her. It's going to be something where Tsubame is going to be with Asukasa or something, and they're both going to get recognized. You're the two people that made that thing, and they're, Tsubame is going to initially just be like, okay, cool, I'll get my autograph, turn on my face and stuff, and do this whole thing. But it's like, no, we wanted to just chat with you. You don't want an autograph? I mean, can I have your autograph?
Wait, autograph? I mean, you made a cool animation, but hold on now.
Yeah, but that kind of thing of where the excitement of seeing them is because we want to chat about what we're excited
What's
about.
What's the story behind the
thing.
girl with the machete and the gas mask and the tank and everything?
Right.
Yeah,
and that's just going to change like so much about their opinions regarding this whole thing in a positive way, and also just Tsubame no longer having to kind of put on maybe some airs with regards to when a fan comes by and it's like, you're the perfect model and everything like that. Let me, and all that. Yeah. But wow, great episode. Wonderful stuff. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. If you want to see how the battles in my sci-fi novel turned out with swords and not with hydraulic spike things, then check out the link in the description to Amazon where you can get my book.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.